All right, so I'm going to do my journal for the second assignment, and the first question is, what is the role of student affairs in a student's development? And I think at first I thought this question was going to be very easy, and then I thought about it a little harder, and my answer is that our role within student affairs for a student's development is on a different level than someone in academic affairs because we are trained in that background. While I have not been an educator for a particular subject, I feel that we have special training that allows us to fully look at who the student is as an individual, and that will allow us to essentially cater that student's experience and provide them with the appropriate resources based on where they're at in their life. And I feel like that's something that maybe a lot of professors don't always realize. They may say, like, okay, this is a first year student who is a part of this cultural group. However, I don't know how to best assist them because they're in this stage of this particular identity development. And so I think the role of student affairs within a student's development is like allowing the student to get the most personalized experience, essentially. And through that, it is heightened. And I think that it's really important that student affairs and academic affairs really work together in working to develop a holistic student. And I know we talk a lot about that, about being a holistic student affairs educator and not producing, but fostering global citizenship and really encouraging our students to take part in society and be those active change agents in whatever they may partake in. The second question is, what are your boundaries regarding relationships with students? I think for me, working in academic affairs and the current assistantship that I have a unique position where I see my students throughout their entire first year of college, and they are all first generation students. And that is something that I love because I relate to them. My boundaries are professional with personal touches. For me personally, I feel that it's important to let students know that I am there for them, and while I'm also new to the university, I can serve as a resource for them, being somebody who's been through the shoes that they've been in. So my boundaries are very much very professional with my students, and I allow them to be as real with me as possible. And if they choose to share, I let them know, like, you can share as much or as little as you want with me, not letting them feel pressured to share their entire life story, no matter how challenging their past has been. And that kind of leads into where I want to go with the last question, with how can you effectively advise a student without letting your personal experiences interfere with the information you share with the student or any other suggestions you offer. And I think for me, it is challenging because I am such a relational person. While Relator has never shown up on my strengths class, I feel like I've seen myself becoming more of that person. And I think as a white female who has graduated college and I have my education, I feel like my students might be intimidated by me at first because while I do not identify as someone from a minoritized and underrepresented group, I still identify as first generation, and I know what struggles come along with that. And I want my students to know that about me, and I think that comes with sharing that information. It allows them to feel more comfortable with me. And as far as effectively advising them with my personal experiences, I play it by ear. And when I advise my students, I let them lead the topic, the discussion, and I feel that I'm a good listener, in that when my students come talk to me, I am able to pick up on the cues where they're like, okay, I don't really want to talk about this, and that's my cue to kind of shift the conversation and talk about something different that maybe they have brought up in the last meeting or during class. But with my personal experiences, I know when the timing is right for that. And by doing so, I let my students know that I'm a person too. And that is something that's really important for me to let my students know, is that while, yes, I've graduated, yes, I am in grad school, I have worked really hard to get where I am, and I want them to see that I can be that role model that has made it through college, and that I want to be that person that they come to if they have questions, or if they just really need somebody to talk to. I can do that to a point and then eventually refer them if that's what comes of it. But as far as effectively advising them, I just really feel like personal experiences are important to an extent, and I do my best to place those in spots where it's going to be most beneficial for my students, instead of rambling and carrying on the conversation when the advising appointment is all about my student. But I love what I do. I love working with my students. I love first generation. I love building those relationships with those students, and I really like to be somebody that they look up to. So that is my journal reflection for part 2.